Nintendo, Nintendo, Nintendo. Now, I'd be lying to you if I said that I don't like Nintendo. They're a pretty good company. They got some good games, some good consoles. I'll tell you right now, growing up in the 90s, but because I was broke, it was more like growing up in the 70s. I had the OG NES, played the original Mario. That shit was god tier. That was a fun game. I liked it. You play with friends. When you're winning, all of a sudden your piece of garbage friend decides to reset the system. It was great. It really made me hate people that I knew in real life. But as time has gone on, Nintendo has continued to make cool games, interesting stories, different experiences that are pretty cool, but they refuse to innovate or even get to the bare fucking minimum that other consoles have in terms of hardware, software, and anything else that takes any type of time or effort. Now, I'm going to tell you something right now. I own a PlayStation 4 because Xbox decided to shoot themselves in the foot in the past, and it's an alright console. I'll be honest with you, one of the things I hate about it is that the software is a piece of garbage, the security stinks, and if I was being honest with you, it really makes me sick to my stomach every time my PlayStation Plus needs to renew. That shit should have stayed free. But Nintendo is the only console I have ever owned from 2008 onward that requires me to modify it for my needs of playing games. Let me tell you something right now. When my PS4 came, I plugged the Ethernet in that bitch, and I enjoyed my online experience. No problems. When my Switch came, I was looking at that motherfucker going, okay, there's some USB ports on here. Okay, the HDMI power. Where's the Ethernet port? Is this a console that was made in the past decade? No. If you want an Ethernet adapter, you can go ahead, go onto Amazon, buy it, and put it in your console. Okay, 25 bucks extra. Kind of annoying. Kind of ugly. I did it. Okay, I did it. No one else did it. Smash Online is terrible. But I digress. Then, another thing that I don't like personally is OG Wii. You remember the OG Wii? They knew people were going to be playing GameCube on it. So what do? They put GameCube adapters in the system. Or at the very least, give you an adapter to use with your Switch. Because they're like, come on, bro. Everyone likes GameCube controllers. Don't disrespect me by pretending like I'm not going to use a GameCube controller to play Smash. So again, I had to buy the adapter to play Smash with a GameCube controller. Not the end of the world. I hate the Ethernet problem more than this problem. But again, Nintendo, you did it for the Wii. Why can't you do it for Wii U or even the Switch? Come on, bro. You know people want it. Just put those ports on that bitch. Okay, fair enough. Now, here's the other thing that blows my mind and really like makes me sick in my stomach. By the way, I would just like to point out the Nintendo Switch has a USB 3.0 adapter on the back. That's the hardware. It took Nintendo literally, I don't know if they even patched it, but I know for at least 2 years for a fact they did not update it to support USB 3.0 software-wise. So you got USB 3.0 hardware, but the software can do only 2.0, which is retarded. Why would you even do that? Now, here's the thing. Little segue into the software. Nintendo's software is basic, and even in its basicness is dog shit. I'm going to tell you right now, when I played Super Smash Bros. With my friends, they recently patched this after like a year and a half. You literally would go to join your friend's lobby. They would make a lobby. You go to join, friends list not available. Just for some reason, some way, somehow, it just ain't there. You try to join them, it ain't there. They recently patched that, and it is a little bit better. But I'd be lying to you to say that's the only online issues I have with the Nintendo Switch. Just to add a friend, you need to fucking get their goddamn Nintendo Social Security number, which is some long-ass fucking convoluted hash key, instead of just using what every other system has used since 2008, a gamertag. How hard is that, Nintendo, to take that hash key that you associate with the console and map it to a fucking gamertag? Please, Nintendo, please! Listen, I did an introductory Java course. I know what I'm talking about. Now, another thing that's annoying when it comes to the online is the fact that there is no real online capabilities other than you're playing online with people. Like, for example, I'm recently playing Pokemon Sword and Shield, and it feels like you're playing Dark Souls. Now, Dark Souls, you can invite people to your game. It actually is a pretty good online experience, but I'm talking about Dark Souls when you're sitting at the bonfire and you see a bunch of ghosts sitting around you like assholes. Like, they're real players sitting there, but you can't really interact with them. Same thing with Pokemon. You fucking walk around, you see a bunch of random people. You can't interact with them. You can't go up and say, hey, you want to battle? You can't go up to them and say, hey, join me in a raid. I swear to God, I fucking played Pokemon with a friend. It took me 20 minutes to finally have them join my lobby after them going in, updating, and seeing it. And again, this is the thing. Because Nintendo's core software is so shit, their developers, they do dog shit all the time. Now, recently, Pokemon got flamed, and they're like, they're garbage, they're shit, they're pure shit for having bad developing practices. But you look at Nintendo, there is no game chat. It doesn't exist. There's no party chat. It doesn't exist. I can't even send you a goddamn text message on this console. If I have you on a friend on Nintendo, it ain't ever evolving into anything other than you're an NPC that I play with. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to sound like some fucking soy boy bullshit right now. But I did meet a couple people when I was on the OG Expert 360. And I still kept in contact with them because we'd have a party chat. We'd play games. It was you build an actual friendship that, you know, obviously online it's not necessarily the same as an in real life relationship. But it's a lot more better than sending fucking like just hashed emotes in a Smash arena as opposed to talking in a party chat. It's really archaic and stupid. And just in general, the online is not that great. And again, like I said, the developers for the game, Nintendo exclusives, they don't do an amazing job when it comes to the online anyway. But the console itself has just such basic capabilities. And it's like, it's literally like, for real, it's crazy how ass the console is. And I'm just talking about like the game specifics. I'm not trying to talk about the fact that Nintendo refuses to add certain applications that everyone else has, such as Netflix and other apps. And the fact that they refuse to add a party system that, you know, is integral to the console. I mean, if game chat in a game would be great, but for some reason Nintendo don't believe in that. Now, here's the thing. Everything I just said about Nintendo, I think are valid criticisms in the sense that it ruins the experience of using the console. Like, for real, I am not buying another Nintendo console because I have friends who have it at their house and I might go to their house and play it. If anything in the future, maybe I'll buy it for Pokemon, maybe. But it really is a piece of shit console. And the only reason I would ever buy a Nintendo console is to play the exclusives. Now, here's the thing that makes me more sick than Nintendo refusing to update their shitty system. Is fucking Nintendo white knights who are super fucking fanboys. And that when you point out this, you know, criticism saying, listen, the console is not as good as fucking other consoles. Like, nigga, like, please, just update something. Give me an Ethernet port in the system. Give me a party chat feature. Give me a better friend system. Give me something that every other console is providing. And the fanboys come out in full force. I mean, basically what I just said was in a Reddit post. And the people that defended Nintendo makes no sense to me. This dude just straight up goes, people have been saying this about Nintendo for as long as I can remember. It's just complaining that they don't do things the same as everyone else. Okay, I'm going to tell you something, right? When you have a certain entity, a certain core idea or construct, when I look at Windows and I can save files, upload files, and do a bunch of stuff, if I went to a Mac and they let you download shit and not upload shit, I'd go, why the fuck does this exist? Well, Mac is different. They have a different operating system, and they're great because they are different. Listen, I'm talking about basics, bro. I'm talking about joining someone's lobby and just being able to fucking play in a game. By the way, let me just say, this is not just integral to just Nintendo fanboys, although it is strong as fuck. Dragon Ball Z fanboys have made me sick since Ultimate Tenkaichi. That game was a piece of garbage, and people flame me for saying it was shit. And also, recently, Dragon Ball FighterZ, great game, fun to play ranked online, fun to play with friends in a small arena. But one thing that was in that game that was like dog shit and no one really cared about was that the online multiplayer, when playing, for example, there's a mode 3v3 where you go in and you could play with friends. Technically, the way that I ended up playing with friends, that 3v3 game mode, is that I would go in to a lobby, host a lobby, and then they would keep going in and trying to join my lobby. They'd go in, is that my lobby? No, quit, go back in, quit, go back in, quit, go back in. And shitty game development like that is like unacceptable. That really should not fucking exist. Fair enough, Dragon Ball FighterZ, that was like the one strong piece of shit aspect. Whereas with Nintendo, there's like multiple things that people just don't care about or just tell you to go fuck themselves. I don't understand how you could say that Nintendo is just unique and not like everyone else. Listen, the fact that I had to pay extra money to get a fucking Ethernet adapter on my console is not a unique property. That's a fucking retarded property. That's something that's shitty. That's something that is pure crap and pure lunacy to think that they did not rush a Switch Pro system that had a little bit more memory, and for an extra $50, $60, $80, you got an Ethernet port on that bitch. Like, come on, dude. At least give me a little bit to say that that's retarded. But whatever. Nintendo fanboys will do what they want to do. And then another thing that blows my mind is this dude's like, Nintendo is not trying to chase industry trends. It's why they continue to be innovators. The other consoles are just racing to see who can get close enough to being a PC to make people think, blah, 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 fuck consoles, let's just get a PC. Alright, dude, let's be honest. Alright, consoles, as they go forward, do they become more like PCs? Yeah. Obviously, the exclusiveness of games and the user interface of the console is probably the biggest things that make people buy consoles. But you can't tell me that Nintendo are fucking innovators other than they take risks in the hardware presentation. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Switch, it's a pretty decent like console in the sense that it is mobile. You can walk around and play your game and then go back and have it be a console. I would have personally much rather had it where if it's not a mobile console and it was just a better console, because I don't use it mobile that much. And if I did use it mobile, I'd buy a fucking Switch Lite or whatever the fuck that Switch... The Switch that doesn't have a dock, you use it mobily. It's basically like a souped-up 3DS. Just because you're innovating on one part doesn't mean you get to skimp and leave out important things. If I'm making a new car, if I'm fucking Elon Musk and I'm making a brand new Tesla Model X SX44 Tentacion, and I decide to put fucking wings on it and goddamn bass boosting speakers, and it can levitate and go this and there. But you know what? I'm gonna leave brakes off that bitch because I don't think we need brakes. No, bitch. Put brakes on the car. Put an Ethernet port in the console. Have a basic friend system for the console. Like, dude, this is not... Like, the fact of the matter is that Nintendo and games that are made for the console are repeatedly allowed to be shittier because people are fans of the console and people are fans of the franchise. I mean, like, people were flaming the shit out of Pokemon. Now it's starting to die down, but they had a lot of valid criticisms. The fact that they could not import all the Pokemon on launch, the fact that the graphics were ass in certain areas, I didn't really care about that, but it is a valid criticism. And then the one thing that is a fucking fact is that they didn't spend enough time with the networking capabilities of the Switch, and they removed things like the global trade system that was on the 3DS. So, I don't know what you're trying to say in terms of, oh, they're innovators, they don't need to do the basics. My nigga, I'm not talking about being, you know, you don't need to have a superior party chat functionality, but a basic messaging system or in-game chat would be miles ahead of what the fuck they have right now. And I personally think it would make the console better. And there's so many things that could make the console better from a basic perspective that it's fucking crazy. Like, I'm literally not even pointing out the fact that the Switch has shittier fucking performance, and that why would you, and that's the thing too, they had The Witcher come to the Switch recently. Why would I ever buy the Witcher for the Switch when I could just get on a better console? Oh, I know why. Here we go. Nintendo is a company you support purely for first-party games and nothing else. Okay? Fuck Dragon Ball FighterZ for the Switch, I'm not buying it. Fuck Witcher for the Switch, I'm not buying it. Fuck everything that's not a Nintendo Direct game. I'm not a big Nintendo fan or anything, but even I've been tempted to buy a Nintendo system just for the exclusives. Blah, blah, blah. My girlfriend wants a Switch. That's great. Good for you. Alright, so you're basically saying that I need to now buy a PS4 to play other games and then a Switch to play regular games. Why can't the Switch be so good that it's actually a competitor like Xbox and PS3 were? Right now, Xbox One is pretty much an L because there's not that many exclusives. But hardware-wise, feature-wise, I'd say UI-wise, it's better than PlayStation. It actually is pretty decent, so I don't understand why people are like so gung-ho to support Nintendo when they're doing below the bare minimum. And then there's people like this who say, I feel the opposite of you. I hate online multiplayer games. I can deal with my PS4 being connected to the Wi-Fi, but I don't want to play with strangers. It's kind of weird. I disabled Street Pass on the 3DS for the same reason. You don't even really play with people on that. Even when playing Smash on the Switch at parties, we all brought our own Joy-Cons game. 12-person games. Okay, fair enough. So you don't really like online multiplayer games. Fair enough. You don't have to do that. But my boy, why doesn't Nintendo support that? Like, Nintendo should have a basic capability to have a party chat system. I'm not saying, like, it doesn't have to be as much as Sony, where it's like 8 people. bare minimum, I'm thinking 4 to 6. And by the way, this is not rocket science. I'm not asking for them to fucking do a complete UI overhaul. I'm not asking them to completely change their system so that it's more expensive and more hardware driven and more performant. I'm asking for basics that existed in 2008 for consoles to be implanted into the next console that's coming out in a couple of years. Now, I know they are not gonna fucking do that because fanboys don't ask for it. Fanboys literally will sit there and defend this fucking console, defend Nintendo to the death, even if it comes out with a worse product. You want to know why PlayStation 4 is as good as it is this generation? Is because Xbox got cucked to the point that Sony dropped all the bullshit they were trying to pull. Originally, when Xbox was announcing always online, Connect bullshit, integration, a bunch of decisions no one wanted, the people who were buying that console said, fuck you, I'm going to Sony because they're different, I do not want this bullshit. Sony was planning on announcing the same bullshit. They're like, always online, this, that, and the third. They were basically trying to put the boot to people's neck. The reason why they have online a paid-for service now is because Xbox has always had it be a paid online service. By the way, that's another thing to note. Nintendo Online is not free. That shit is $20 a year. It's 1/3 the price of PlayStation, but it's still it's still money out of my pocket. So my point being that Xbox got shit on to oblivion, and because of that, Sony came out. They said, you know what? We're listening to the consumers. And bada bing, bada boom, here's the basic console, no bullshit. Now, try that with Nintendo. At some point in time, Nintendo's going to hit a wall where they do so much dumb shit that, I'm going to tell you right now, if Nintendo doesn't have good games, Nintendo has nothing. There is nothing selling that system other than Nintendo games. Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Smash. Remove those 3 games from this console, what the fuck do you have? Splatoon? Okay, that's kind of cool. What the fuck else? 1 or 2 games? Fucking Fire Emblem Heroes? It's on an alright console. It is not worth the money of other consoles. If a new console comes out and they still do the same bullshit where it's literally forcing people to... Like, when I play the Switch, I literally can't... Like, I gotta go on my computer or call people in person if I want to talk to them while playing a game. Because I have friends, I have people online that I interact with, and I like interacting with them. And even if I didn't have friends... Smash is an online multiplayer game. Pokemon is an online multiplayer game. Why can't you have basic game chat capabilities? And again, for me, it's annoying, it's stupid, but the biggest problem I have with Nintendo is the goddamn fanboys. These people are straight up lemmings. They are in a different realm of existence. And for me, I gotta say, personally, soy boy alert.
At the end of every single video, make sure you ask people to rate and subscribe to your content. It makes them feel like they're involved even though they're really not. And most importantly, make sure they comment on every single video. If you have to, disguise it. You know, call it something like the question of the day. And really make them think you're gonna really read it when you really don't have to. Ha ha ha!